Hi there everyone, it's Mai, and today I'm going to count down my top 10 favorite Walt Disney animation pictures. Only my favorites, by the way. This is just my personal taste. I'm not doing a top Disney movie kind of list. And also, in order to make this list, I had some rules. First of all, that no other associated company is going to be included, like Pixar, Touchstone, Marvel. There's also not going to be no live action. This is just purely animated. No Disney sequels, no Disney Channel movies. So it's just the main studio, the one that started everything. I always consider Disney my favorite animation company, and while they've had their share of blunders and controversy, I think they stood up above the rest, and they've always managed to make quality content, even if they had their less than stellar creations here and there. They've always managed to bounce back, and I really love them for that, as well as made great technological advances in the industry. So without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite animated pictures by Walt Disney Animation Studio. First, I want to go through some honorary mentions. These are the movies that I kind of considered putting in the list, but they didn't really make it. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I really love this movie. It's the movie that started everything. The only reason it didn't make the top 10 list is because I haven't rewatched it a lot, and also because in terms of story and characters, it's kind of outdated. But the animation still blows me away, and the watercolors, backgrounds are just beautiful. Wreck-It Ralph. This one is such a fun movie. As a gamer, I think this is the best video game movie I've seen. The only reason it didn't make it up the list is mainly because some of the characters get on my nerves, like Vanellope. I don't know. I'm not too fond of her characters, so I didn't add this on the list mainly because of her. As well as Treasure Planet. Treasure Planet is so much fun. It's a great adventure. It has a great style, steampunk-ish. Again, the only reason I did not add this is because of one character, and that is the Martin Short robot. I don't like him, and to me, he kind of ruins the movie on the second half. But I do love John Silver and Jim Hawkins, and I really love this universe. I just wish that the characters were stronger in terms of the side characters. And the last one that did not make this list, it got really close, was Lilo and Stitch. I really love this movie. I love the Hawaiian setting, and I love Lilo and Nani and Stitch and all the aliens. And the only reason why this didn't make it is because I was more invested in the sister relationship than anything else. Everything else seemed mediocre in my opinion. Like, the sister relationship is so good, but I just wish the movie focused more on that than the whole E.T. thing, you know? It's a great movie, and I highly recommend it. It's just not one of my personal favorites. But without further ado, let's get to my list. Number 10 is The Great Mouse Detective. Now, this was during the Disney Dark Age. This was a period of time before the Disney Renaissance, and The Great Mouse Detective is one of their strongest works within that era, that very difficult era. This movie is very smart. It has great animation for the most part, even if it's not as cleaned up and polished as other Disney films. It still has some of the best character expressions. I've always really loved the whole setting of the secret world of mice. It just lends to so many fun possibilities, a little miniature world among humans that they don't know. For some reason, I always love that genre of movies. I don't know why. It's just me. Basil of Baker Street is one of the best main Disney characters. He's extremely smart, and you want to be as smart as him and try to solve this mystery. And he also has like this morally gray kind of personality. He's not the goody two-shoes that Disney always brings out in their main characters. He's kind of a jerk, but that's what makes him more lovable, because he goes through his own character development, and he also falls into his own arrogance, and he has to rise above that using his intelligence. I really love that character, but the character that is my favorite in that movie is Ratigan. I think he's one of the best Disney villains, mainly because he is voiced by Vincent Price, whom I love, and also animated by one of my favorites, Glenn Keane. He just has the perfect mesh of voice work and animation, and you just believe everything that you're seeing. You're not seeing somebody playing a character, you're seeing the character right there. And I think that's the illusion of life that animation brings that really makes it special. I also love the climax of the movie. I love the clock tower fight, and I also like the incorporation of CGI that hasn't aged badly at all. It looks great for the time period, and you can still watch this today and it still looks fantastic. And while the animation is not as polished as the Disney Renaissance films, it still is really unique, and it does have really catchy and fun songs, and it's just an overall very fun adventure mystery. Number 9 is Aladdin. I really love this movie. It is a great fantasy adventure, and it has some of the best character animation you can ever find. It has this in-between of Looney Tunes and Disney animation that I really enjoy. It doesn't get too over the top, but it does experiment with so many new things that Disney did not before. I think without this movie, we wouldn't have The Emperor's New Groove or Hercules, where they also go through this formula of trying to get out of the box and try to push comedy, as well as introduce two voice actors who were kind of raunchy comedians in real life. So Robin Williams, who does an amazing performance as Genie, rest in peace, he completely embodies its character. Nobody can do this character as well as he did. Dan Castellaneta, who's a great voice actor, tried to do this, but he failed. Genie is Robin, and I think that's one of the first. This is one of the first movies where a celebrity was introduced to a Disney cast and basically completely owned this character. And they did it very well. A lot of things could have gone wrong in this movie, but for some reason, they managed to pull off very well. And this film was Disney trying to get out of the box, and I really love it when Disney attempts this, even if they fail. I really like them experimenting outside their comfort zone. Now back to Aladdin. I really like this story, and I really like the character arc Aladdin goes through. He's a very strong character, and he's a very likable character too. He's like the perfect trope of the lovable rogue. Like, he's a little mischievous, he's technically a thief, but you can still feel a lot for him, and you still want him to pull through. I also really like Jafar as the villain. He's like the perfect theatrical, flamboyant villain, and I just love him to death. He's animated by Andreas Deja, who is really great, and he's just so delicious in his evil. Like, he is so awesome when it comes to laughing maniacally and trying to take over everything and doing his transformations and sorcery. Like, this is where the animation really shines. Disney animators pour their heart into this adventure, and even though the CGI kind of looks wonky and kind of looks PlayStation 1-ish at times, it is still something that holds up till today. The Cave of Wonders, Jafar turning into a giant cobra, Jafar turning into a giant demonic red genie, lifting up the castle. I just remember all of this imagery. It has a lot of softness too. It has a really good character interactions, and the whole segment, A Whole New World, is just this very romantic and beautiful song that doesn't go cheesy. It's just, this movie is like one of the perfect first Disney movies that you can introduce to a child, or introduce to somebody who doesn't really know Disney. This is a really great way to initiate them into the Disney fandom, basically. So I'm mostly impressed with this film's fun attitude and its animation and characters. No wonder it got a television spin-off, because there's so many possibilities with this universe that can be explored. Number 8, Sleeping Beauty. I love this movie. It is so artistically beautiful. It all looks like a medieval tapestry come to life with a little bit of Disney flair. But that's not the main reason why I love this movie. Now, I'm going to get it out of the way. Aurora and Philip, the couple of the movie, are terrible. They're like the blandest two characters ever. However, I forgive them in that because when I watched the making of Sleeping Beauty, they were very burned out of the princess and prince formula. They want to try something new. This movie was basically made to save Disney out of bankruptcy because they were struggling very much financially. So while they wanted to make a princess movie, they wanted to do and approach it in a new perspective. And the perspective they did was really great. The main characters are the good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, who are so cute and lovable. They remind me of myself. They are just very adorable characters, and they're very proactive, and they try their best to save the day and to save the whole situation. Now, of course, I have to mention the best animated character of this movie, and that is Maleficent. She is one of the best Disney villains for a reason. She is just this horrible demonic force, but masked with such elegance and class. It's just wonderful. And her whole transformation of being a dragon in the end against Christopher Lee. That's one of the best Disney climaxes ever. That whole fight is just great with the music and the action, and just all of the stakes are just high, and so much is riding on that. Now, yeah, I understand when people say I don't like this movie because Sleeping Beauty, the character is not good and pretty bland. I completely get that, but I can brush that aside because she doesn't have much screen time and because she's animated so beautifully. Her hair and the way she moves, it's just perfection. Her design is beautiful. And just kind of ironic, but I just love Aurora's design, even though her character sucks. I don't really care because the intention of this movie was to face it in another perspective, to do the same fairy tale, but in the perspective of another character that's not the prince or the princess. And I really like that. I wish they could do that more. Have another aside in the point of view of a side character or a villain's sidekick or whatever. I really like the fact that they experimented with this, and artistically this movie is gorgeous and the music is amazing. I really love this movie, and if you haven't seen it, you know, give it a try. You might like it. Number 7 is Bambi. Now this is Walt Disney's favorite film of his company, and I really see why. This is such a beautiful and harsh and gentle movie. It is the movie about life, basically. It follows a baby deer into his life, and it ends when him as an adult and the trials and tribulations he goes through. It is also a movie that is very subtle, and I really love the interactions and the little details that it has here and there. It also has some of the best atmosphere. I really am a fan of atmosphere as well as character interaction. And while this movie doesn't have much of the character interaction or complex characters or anything like that, it really makes up with atmosphere and making you feel like you're in the forest experiencing all of this. In a way, a lot of people like Fantasia better because of that whole atmosphere with the music and all that, but I'm more of a story person, so Bambi does that for me. That's what Fantasia does to many people. And I just love the fact that this movie took a big risk of killing off Bambi's mother. I don't think I'm spoiling if I'm saying this because everybody has seen this movie by this point. But when Bambi's mom dies, it's such an ingenious way of constructing this harsh scene in an animated film. Mainly because it's off screen, but you still feel the impact and the harshness of it all. It is treated more like the circle of life, and that, you know, man is not really a villain but a force of nature. It's not a propaganda film about saving the forest. The animals are aware that man is the top predator, and they're aware of that, and they don't demonize him. They just accept that he's a part of their lives. A lot of people turned vegan after watching Bambi when it came out, but I don't think they understood the importance. I think that when man burnt the forest down, that's when he went too far. Also, Bambi has one of the best Disney sequels, in my opinion. It really tries to capture the look of the movie, and it tries to fill in the gaps that the first movie left. So for those who haven't seen the sequel, then I suggest you check it out, because it does bring a lot of unanswered questions. But if you just want to enjoy the first movie as it is, then you can pass it. Number 6 is The Lion King. Now, to me, this is an updated version of Bambi. Like, it's Bambi for a modern audience and set in Africa. It kind of follows the same format, only they sacrifice the atmosphere with musical numbers and also more character interaction. I've loved this movie. I've always loved this movie, and to those who call it overrated, I kind of disagree with it. This movie was huge. It just had this scope, this atmosphere, this just rawness of emotion, and this Shakespearean tale of growing up and overcoming life's obstacles. It also, to me, it has one of the best morals in any Disney film, that you can't just run away from your past. You have to confront it, because you might discover something you've never even guessed. And also, it has a great Disney villain, Scar, who has an amazing musical number, and it has a great use of color, and it makes Africa look huge and dangerous and wonderful and beautiful at the same time. It really brings out the environment and the harshness of the environment, as well as its beauty. While not all the characters are perfect, I think the characters that stand up to me personally are Mufasa and Rafiki. I think those characters are just amazing, and I really love Mufasa's wisdom and James Earl Jones' voice. And he's one of the Disney parents that gain the most development and personality. And he's also a very badass dad. And for people who say that you need a lot of screen time to develop a character and to make them lovable, Mufasa's a great example. He doesn't appear that much, but whenever he appears, he makes a great impression on you. Rafiki is one of the best mentor characters ever. He's weird, but he's also very, you can tell that he just knows everything. He's so ancient and wonderful and compassionate. I really love this character. And the rest of the characters are fine. I think the weakest ones, in my opinion, are Timon and Pumbaa, mainly because they kind of seem out of place, but they manage to make me laugh sometimes. They are cute, and I think they do serve that lightheartedness needed after Mufasa dies. That wildebeest scene is just so well done. It was also done with CGI, and it really blends very well, kind of like the clock tower in Great Mouse Detective. Number 5 is Hercules. I love this movie. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and it got me interested in Greek mythology, even though Greek mythology is much darker. I love the style of this movie. I love how they blend this artist's very twisted and dark style and get the traditional Disney aesthetic, and then just make a beautiful baby. A lot of the imagery in this movie is great. I love the way Mount Olympus is designed, the whole setting of Athens and the underworld. All of the environments are very well done. But the thing I love about this movie the most is the characters. Each one of these characters is great, in my opinion. I love Hercules as the hero with the heart of gold, but who's also like very adorably shy. I love Meg, who is like this cynical, sassy villain's minion who becomes a heroine in the end. I love how these two work off each other and how they complement each other. And I had to admit, they're one of my favorite Disney couples. I also love Hades. I think he's a very, very funny villain. Originally, they wanted Hades to be very slow and monotone, but James Wood just embodied that character so well. And he cracks me up every time, and I love his little rage outbursts. It's just, he looks like such a fun character to animate. And then the rest of the gods are great too. I love Zeus, who is like this paternal figure who tries to lead Hercules into the right path. Phil, Danny DeVito, he does great. And of course, I love the cute and yet pretty badass, Pegasus. Now, I think this movie gets a lot of bad rep because they say that the story is stupid. And to that I say, why don't you read Greek mythology and tell me, is this intelligent writing to you? It is pretty wacky. And yes, it's wacky and it's weird, but Greek mythology is wacky and weird. I don't understand why people are so surprised that this very loony story came out of this very strange source material. The songs are very hit and miss for some people, but to me, I really enjoyed them, and I think the best one is "I Won't Say I'm in Love." It's a pretty memorable song that I sing in karaoke all the time.